$131. So some free money in the pool. Play along with us tonight, and best of luck on this 8-race program from Turfway. Get into the program here. Kicking off the pick 5 is race number 1, Maiden Filly, 3-year-old 15 down to 10 claimers. They'll race a mile. No changes in the opener. And number 8, Stylish Kitten, probably be a single on a lot of people's pick 5 tickets. She is 8-5 on the morning line and my top pick in the race. She's a daughter of Kitten's Joy. We know those love the polish. She comes from a good barn. Ken and Sarah Ramsey, Mike Maker. This one is a homebred for the Ramsey. She's out of Plumage, who's a mare by Broken Vow. This one debuted on February 13th here at Turfway, going the mile, and kind of broke a little slow, but did rally to be third, beaten 3 and half lengths. The horse that was second in that day came back and won. I look for her to move forward. Now she is drawn to the outside, but just an 8-horse field, so I do expect her to break a little more alertly tonight. I don't expect the 2 horses directly inside of her to show any speed, so I think she'll be able to save some ground in the run the first turn. So Stylish Kitten, for those reasons, my top pick. Second, number 4, Belle Magi. She's a daughter of Magician for Craig Minton and Ben Colebrook. Made poly debut now. She had raced on synthetic up in Golden Gate, but when shipped here, made the poly debut last start and really didn't show much, but I don't think she was persevered with very much. She, sometimes they take at least need a trip over the track to kind of figure out what they're racing over here. And this one was 11th early, did end up 7th, so run by a few horses, but was wide as can be almost throughout. So Bella Magi at 2-1 on the class drop here is worth a look. Now for third, number 1, Prosperous Kitten. This is another one by Kitten's Joy in this race. She's out of an Arch mare, and we know the progeny of Arch. They love this racetrack as well. And this one comes from a really good barn. Phil Sims is 3 wins from 11 starts. In fact, I think he's had a win since this program's been printed as well. So you got to respect the barn. Malcolm Franklin, with limited starters here, he is hitting somewhere, I think, just over 20% now. He's had a couple of wins this week on the program, and when the money's down, Malcolm's down. So this one is dropping in for the 15 level debut at a straight maiden. Took some money that day, was bet down early, but did drift back up to about 18-19-1, but showed speed and faded, and has drawn the fence, will save some ground and be up and near the lead on the big drop in class 6-1. Race number 1 for me, 8-4-1, and it starts at 50 cents, pick 5, with the $24,767 carryover. Now we move on to the second race. Starts the early pick 4. Small takeout, just 14% takeout every night here at the track. And it's a 2 and a full year to go a mile. There is a scratch of number 3, Xandar. And I think it narrows it down with that horse out for me. It narrows it down to 2 horses. My top pick to the outside, number 9, Valley Cove. This one was a 4th, beaten 5 lengths last start to a really good field, but the horse got in a little trouble late and checked, and there was an objection, and it was disallowed, but the horse definitely was bothered as the horse floated all the way out from the inside and come out. But I don't know that it affected her because it was right at the line. But she did take up. I don't know that it cost her a placing, but she has elected to, or they have, Chelsea has elected to drop him in class to the $5,000 level. And this Son of Lemon Drop kid is getting a big class relief. This is a 2 and a full year. He's never faced anything like this on his form. He has a win right here at Turfway. Made about $80,000 almost in his career, and this one's definitely worth a look. It's a breaking weight with the Bug Girl, 7 pounds. I like the 7 pounds going the mile off, and Virginia is certainly capable of winning. So this horse is my top pick. For second, number 2, 7 Hearts Warrior. Alvin Jimenez takes over the riding services for Scooter Arnold and Keith Kinman. This one, 3 back here on January 1st, rallied from far back to win. That was in a 1 of the year. Came back in a similar condition like today, and was 4th, beaten 2 lengths, was very slow to begin, and was the best horse that day. Followed that up last start. Now this was a 3 and 2 years or non-4 lifetime at racing last time. A little bit tougher race than this one, but this one comes back to the 2 and a full year, worth a look, 3.5-1 for the Kinman barn. Now for third, number 8, Joey B for Jimmy Watkins. This one has raced at Turfway Park 3 times, and he has 2 wins. His lone defeat was last start here on February 15th, where he showed speed and faded, but only got beat 5 lengths to a pretty good field. I think Cairns won 3 races at the meet already, so at 5-1, I'm going to throw this one in for third, 9-8 for me in race 2. Now, race number 3 here at Turfway every night starts our single 6 jackpot wager, and there's a carryover, $5,131 in free money. So it's a 20-cent base bet, the final 6 races on the card, and I think this sequence is hittable tonight. I don't know that you have to spend a great deal of money, and I think the back half of the card, you can go a little shorter in a couple of races. The first leg maybe as well. I'm only going to use 2 in the opening leg, and they are the 2 you'll see on the screen. I have picked 1-2 here. That's number 5, My Mako. I can understand if you want to single the horse. I'm going to add a little coverage. I think she is the best horse in the race. She was second, beaten 3/4 of a length. Last start going 6.5 furlongs. I think her lick may be a little shorter, 5.5, or today's distance 6 furlongs. So they cut her back to the 6 furlong distance. Comes from a good barn and gets the second leading rider, Gerardo Corrales. 5-2 morning line favorite, my top pick. Another one I'll use in here is number 4, Already Tappin'. She's a great daughter at Tapazar. Tapazar's progeny loves this track as well. They've, I think last time I checked, that sire has sired 11 winners this year already here at Turfway. So the Barras Stables of Zach Sims sends this one out, and under the tutelage of Mr. Gary Sims. And this one is taking a drop in class to the 75 level. Now, on debut at Keeneland for the 30, kind of ran around there, and then came back in the race at Churchill in the slot. Ran a really good race, better than it looks on paper. Rallied to be 7th, beaten 7 lengths, and was way wide, and ended up getting moved up a spot. And then here at Turfway, I liked the horse a lot on the stretch out last time. In fact, we bet it and talked about it here, but the horse just got crushed leaving the gate and then faded. But we're turning back to the 6 furlong distance. We're dropping in class, and you got to respect this barn, and it's one to watch at 8-1. I'm using those 2 only in the pick 5. If you're playing exotics, or even a pick 5 and your budget allows us, the 9, Rhoda's Jewel, I could see throwing her in, I guess. She's a 4-year-old bay daughter of Overanalyzed from the Kim Hammond barn, for owner Paul Martin. And the only thing that I have against this one is it's 17-time maiden, but maybe today is the day. But she's always right there. I'm going to use her in the exactas and tries probably, just for some backup bets. But this one has 2 second-place finishes, 7 third-place finishes here, and 4 of 5 on the board here at Turfway. Obviously, she's never won, but she has 2 second and 2 third-place finishes, and this one will be rolling late. My only other concern is I don't know that there's a lot of speed. My Michael probably will go. I don't think Tings that makes sense on the turnback will have any speed. She won't be able to go with them. The only other one, maybe Final Truth and Gabe Lagunas, he likes to send out of there. But I think the 5, My Michael, is the horse, and the 4 on the class drop, my second choice. I'm going to try to get through the pick 5 with just those 2, but the top 3 are 5, 4, and 9. In the 4th race, it's a 2 and 6 months claiming event to go 6.5 furlongs. And in the 4th race, I think I'm getting a scratch sent to me here on the phone. But, in fact, number 9, Chuckmate, is scratched out of the 4th. Again, number 9, Chuckmate, scratched. My top pick in the race, number 3, At Guard. This one comes from the barn of Larry Smith. Just missed last start. Treetop Flyer from the Luke Guida barn, or maybe Joey Guida. I don't know who trains it now, Tony maybe, but it's definitely one of those guys and in that family. This one made a big class drop last time here at Turfway and won and defeated my top pick in here. But this horse owns a great record here on the poly track. 8 from 9 in the money, 2 wins, 3 second, 3 third place finishes. Comes from a good barn, Larry Smith, for longtime owner Andy McKenzie. And 4-1 on the morning line, my top pick in the race. Another horse I like a little bit to the outside is number 10, How's My Bud. He's been unlucky the past couple of starts, and 2 back he should have won that day where he was 5th, beaten 8 lengths, just ran into some traffic trouble. Allen had him going good, and the hole kind of closed. Wasn't their fault, but the horse kind of got a little trouble, and I got a little banged up in that incident, so didn't race for about 4 or 5 weeks. Barbara got the horse back ready and ran a good race last time. Was 3rd, beaten 2 lengths out of the same race as my top pick. You got to respect this horse. You got to use this horse. The horse is well drawn to the outside, good trainer, good rider, good post, and good odds, 9-2 on the line. Now, number 2, Just Enough Tough for Lauren Diego is one I'll use in here. This horse was scratched out of a race a couple of weeks ago. Opted for the race 7 days ago, and I liked this horse in an open 5 that day, but was 5th, beaten 6 lengths, and came running late, but it was too late. It was coming up the inside on a dead rail that night, but turns back to the 6.5 furlong distance. This horse is versatile. Ultimately, I do probably think maybe he needs a little more ground, but could get a good pace setup. Does have it up against him a little bit, though. He's drawn to the inside at at the 6.5 furlong distance. But Sammy Bermuda starting to heat up at the meet. He's a very smart tactical rider. I think he'll have this horse back off around the pace and get in a good stalking position in that first turn and set up for his late kick here at 8-1. Coming up, we'll talk about next is race number 5. Race 5 ends the pick 5, ends the early pick 4, starts the late pick 4. It's a non-3 claimer to go a mile, and this race, I want to use several horses in here if you can, if your budget allows you. There's a scratch of the 13 and 14 in there. My top pick in the race, and I'm all cautious about this top pick, so I'm going to add some coverage. But number 6, Just Another John. Now, the horse has never won here at Turfway. He has raced 11 times, though, with 4 second-place finishes and 2 third-place finishes. And his trainer's a very capable trainer, and he's elected to drop this one in class. That last start where he was beaten just 8 lengths for that 15 non-3 was a pretty good race, and drops in for the 5 here. That was the first start since September, and in fact, it was only the second start since June. But I look for this horse to move forward off that race. That was a mile and 16th. He cuts back to the mile today, and Abel Loscano has the call 4-1. Number 11, 139 for Michelle Bradford's stable, is a 5-year-old son of Creative Cause. Now, this one took some money last start. Ran in the race where all hands on deck won. Valid Storm, another horse in this race, was second. He's the 5 horse in here. But Rogelio Miranda is a jockey that rides this track very well, and he's been starting to heat up here the last couple of weeks with some wins. And at 6-1, I'm going to have some coverage. This is the final leg. I want to have as many as possible. Another one to use, Fred's Country Boy. This will be the horse to catch. He will absolutely, as long as he breaks good, he'll be on the lead with that rail draw. Lagunas will squeeze on him early, and he'll be out there winging it on the front end. And if left alone, could be tough to run down. He has a win here over the track. He's 6-1, well drawn to the inside. 6-11-1, race number 5. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a little break here. We'll come back with the changes in the rest of the program. But first, I ask that you please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Good Saturday evening, racing fans. Welcome into Turfway Park. The mutual windows are open. We have 8 races on this Super Saturday program. 38 degrees here in Florence, Kentucky. The poly track is listed as fast. A couple of carryovers to note. The pick 5, which starts in race number 1 as a carryover pool of $24,767, and the single 6 in race number 3 has a carry of $5,131. At this time, if you'll take out your racing programs, I'll give you tonight's late program changes. First race start of that pick 5 is clear, no changes. Race 1 is clear. If you'll turn to the second race, we do have a scratch in race number 2 of the 3, Xandar. Second race, number 3, Xandar, has been withdrawn. Third race starts a single 6. That race is clear. There's a couple of changes in race number 4. Overweight on number 8, Zen Papa. That rider is 1 pound over the listed weight. Scratch number 9, Chuckmate. Number 9, Chuckmate, has been scratched. Fifth race starts the late pick 4. Simply scratch the also eligible. Scratch 13 and 14. Fifth race numbers 13 and 14 out. Sixth race starts the final rolling pick 3. Couple of changes. Number 11, Kylie's Charm. That rider is 1 pound overweight. Scratch number 13, I'm Warning You. Number 13, I'm Warning You, has been scratched. Seventh race starts the final roll-in daily double. In the seventh race, scratch part of the entry, number 1, Artemis City Limits. Number 1, Artemis City Limits, has been scratched. Please note the entry mate will race, though. And also scratch number 9, Lucky Old Sun. Number 9, Lucky Old Sun, scratch from race 7. Eighth and final with that super high 5 wager is clear. No changes in the eighth and final. Those are the changes at this time. Any changes coming in throughout the balance of the program, I'll get those to you as they do so. Well, welcome back to the show, race fans. Prior to the break, we got through the first 5 races. That pick 5, again, we talked about the first pick 5 here at the track, the first 5 races, and that carryover of the pick 5, just shy of $25,000. I just checked. Currently in the pool, there's over $16,000 already with 24 minutes to post in new money, so that pool's going to be a huge one. Please play along. Now we'll talk about the final 3 races now. Race number 6 here starts the final rolling pick 3. It's a filly and mare non-3 claiming event to go 5.5 furlongs. $5,000 is the claiming price, and I'm going to go to the outside with a couple of horses here. Number 11, Kylie's Charm at 5-1 is my top pick. This one debuted at Indiana in a really, really good field back in July and ran a great race. Was third, beating the link, and probably should have been second that day with the Bug Boy, but did run a good race in a really good field. Came back off that performance at Ellis and was fourth, beaten 4 lengths, and they decided to take that one over to Belterra at the 5.5 furlong distance in the straight maiden ranks, and ran out the TV screen and took over, and short comment says took over too wide at the 5/16, and it did. The horse was wrapped up on 7 3/4 length winner. Hasn't raced since then. I don't know what happened, but the trainer's a very good trainer. He wouldn't run the horse if she wasn't right, and he's jammed her in for the $5,000 level and been working here. The works aren't really fast, but don't need to work a horse fast to be able to win. Just need to be tight, and Kylie's Charm, I think, is worth a look here. Number 10, My Girl Rocket for the West Fletcher barn. He claimed this one at Churchill 2 back out of a wide open $7,500 level. Elected to wait at the jail time, but when the jail time was over on the required raise off the claim for 30 days, he elected to run the horse back for what he claimed it for. He didn't even drop the horse, so shows to me he liked the horse a little bit, and the horse took money, was second choice that day in behind Christian Miss. Christian Miss came out of that race and ran into the starters, but now she's back into a race here where she has a chance, and this one was fourth right in behind that field. Drops in for the 5 ball today and must use at 4-1. Number 2, Liner, one for Dan Sainer in here. This one has won the last 2, although one of those she was disqualified 2 back for the 5 level. She drifted out and beat a horse there. She got taken down. They came back off 19 days rest, ran for the $7,500, and she won. She won by 3/4 of a length, and she fought on again. Promised Fame for Danner came back and won. Social Circle, I think, from the Gennaro Garcia barn. It came back and won. That was a very good race that day. liner, turns back to the 5.5 furlongs. She's drawn towards the inside. That doesn't bother me at the 5.5 furlong distance. She will be on or near the lead, and with that inside draw, he's going to have to send her, and hope she holds on. And for those reasons, that horse is my third choice at 7-2, 11, 10, and 2. Now we'll move on to the 7th race. The 7th race here is a maiden 3-year-old 30 down to 20 claimant event to go 6.5 furlongs. A couple of scratches we spoke of. Part of the entry, Artemis City Limits has been scratched. Plain 1 and 9 are out. I'm still going to use the entry mate 1A American Solution, homebred for Ken and Sarah Ramsey, son of a real solution out of that mare US Dream. And this one's been training pretty well here for Mike Maker, as you'll see on the workout pattern. Last start 101, a drill here was 6th best of 18, and has a series of a few 5/8 furlong drills here in preparation for this debut, and gets the services of Gerardo Corrales. Number 4, Howard of Luck, on debut here back December 28th, ran a really impressive race in behind Boo Reed. And what was impressive to me, the horse should have won, should have been unsaddled that night, and galloped. It says reserved gallop for third, but the horse was jostled around a little bit and just sat against and kind of didn't know what he was doing. And then all of a sudden, when the running, he figured out to run. He did run and came running, got up to be third, but his gallop out. When he galloped out, when he got to about the 6.5 pole, 7 furlong pole, he was getting to the horses 6.5. He ran by all the horses. Now they were pulling up, but he was still figured out and running, and was really tough to pull up on the backside for the jockey that day. And they tried to race this horse here a couple of times. The race didn't fill, so he took the horse to Mahoney on February 1st in straight maiden ranks. He stepped it up in class, did Billy Hardin, and the son of Astrology ran second, beaten 3 lengths, and to a good horse named Jamaican Magic for the DaCosta barn. That horse has came back and won since then. So now this one, what does he do? He comes back to Turfway and gets some extra ground at the 6.5 furlong. I think the horse will like the extra ground. He's 3-1 in behind a first-time starter from a good barn, and I'm going to use him. For third, number 8, spinning undeniably. Not often do we see a first-time starter for Asmussen debut here at Turfway, but with the increase of purses, he's left some horses here, and he's been running some horses here. This one's 6-1 on the morning line. I'm going to take advantage of that and use that horse as well. He's the son of Hard Spun out of an AP Indy mare for Lewis Lakin. Alvin Jimenez has the call. Good, steady series of works. You got to respect the barn. 6-1. I'll throw him in there. 1-4-8. 8th and final with the Super High 5 wager. No carryover in that. That was it last night. I think it came back. We gave it out here on the show. If you tuned into the Odds Couple show, came back $811 for each correct 50-cent winning ticket. Hope you listened and hope you played along. Now, race number 8, again, no carryover, but if you're playing, I think the horse to single for me, I'm going to put this horse on top in all my bets. Number 8, Rule Like Cleopatra. She's 8-1, and I love her tonight. She's a 11-time winner here at Turfway. She's been 5 seconds, 3/3 out of 24 starts. She's won 17 in her career. Now, today's distance of 5.5 furlongs maybe isn't her best lick, but she has won 2 times at it. Maybe she does need a little bit more ground because as she's getting older, I think it takes a little longer for her to get going. But this field on paper, I think if she runs her A- game or B+ game, I think she can handle this field for Casey Garrett Farm and Danny Kessler. Dougie Danner, very good trainer, sends this one out. And this one last start, 7th beat 6 lengths. That's not a bad race. That was in behind Archie's Girl, but I think she probably lost all chance as she was really anxious in behind the gate and charged the gate. She broke through prior to the start of the race. She was okay. They loaded her back in, and she ran, but she didn't run as good as I thought she was going to. If she runs a race back, she ran on December 21st, where she's 3rd beaten 2 lengths. She came flying, and even the race last start, those numbers make her a winner against this field. So 8-1, I'm using her. Number 1, Drama Run. Drama Run drew the rail last start. She's in there again today. But last start, that was 6 furlongs, and she was up against it and just never really had any luck. But prior to that, she ran a bang-up race on January 25th, where she was 2nd, just beaten to Archie's Girl. And this one turns back to the 5.5 furlongs, gets the rail again, but the rail's okay, 5.5, but she's definitely going to have to get squeezed on out of there so she can get a good position. There's really no speed right directly to the outsider. Love the Power has a little bit, but not her kind of speed. Constancia, I don't think could go with her. Shape of You, I don't think could go. Maybe I'm So Money, but with that being said, I think Drama Run can get up and after the lead and hopefully hang around, as I think Roulette Cleopatra will run over late. Now, number 2, Hey Hey, 8-1 for Gerardo Corrales and Blanca Candelas. I wanted to add some price here. This one's a 6-time winner. Now, she's always on the board, it seems like, 10 seconds, 8 thirds, 9 thirds, 25 for 48 in the money. And this one should not be far off that pace either. Corrales riding very well at the meeting. Blanca Candelas hitting 25% here at Turfway. Well, that's the way I see him, the 8th and final 8-1-2. That's my thoughts on this 8-race card, including that early pick 5. Again, the pick 5 has a carryover of $24,767, and right now there is over $20,000 in new money in that pool. Please play along. 50-cent base bet starts in race 1, and that's in 15 minutes. Good luck.